I receive a lot of suggestions for new linguistic tales, sometimes short and to the point, just language name. Once in a while, though, I get a special message from someone who shares how much my animations meant to them and how meaningful it would be for me to tell a tale about their language. It's beautiful. Then I turn to my list of ideas, and I get a reminder of just how long this list has grown. Wow. So I did some quick calculations, comparing the quantity with how much time it takes me to craft each one of these. Yeah, many years of work ahead of me. With this little exercise, it sank in that I won't be getting to all of these. Probably obvious, but my calendar just flipped over to a new year, and today I at least want to set aside time to highlight some of the unmade videos and the languages deserving nods over the past years. Hang on to the end to find out the most requested language among these personal thanks. I'll also be curious to hear how many of these you recognize or know something about. Let's start with the latest video on African romance. Behind the scenes, someone was instrumental in getting the facts on the ground right about what my French and Italian sources labeled Berber, Berbero, Berber. Hilda answered my questions and gave extra info about the multiple living language variants under the umbrella term Tamazight, including just how diverse they can be. Travel even just 10 miles from where Hilda lives, and there's already a noticeable change in phonology, vocabulary, and semantics. I often get messages about Nahuatl and sometimes Maya in the wake of my videos, including a beautiful one about reconnecting with family. But other languages in the area were left out. I think the most requested must be Purépecha. It's a language isolate in Michoacán, no known relatives found after 150 years of study, and it's unique. If you think back to my video on the Mesoamerican language area, Purépecha speakers today have hardly any of the traits common in their area, arguably only sharing one with the languages around them, those base 20 numbers. I've seen a lot of eager requests for languages of the Philippines, Tagalog, Ilocano, Cebuano, even for the unique local Spanish Creole, Chabacano. It makes sense. Looking at the geography behind my videos, YouTube consistently puts the PI easily in the top 10 watchers of native lang. Philippine languages are often grouped together as a subfamily of Austronesian, but it's debated whether they actually form a separate unit from other Austronesian languages. There are well over 100 of them, and they share lots of structural similarity, including the notorious Philippine alignment. This different way of marking the verb's voice and subject nouns is worth a video or two all its own. From time to time, I get the now expected friendly reminder that I still haven't animated anything about Bosnian, Serbian, Croatian, Montenegrin, or all of them together in a single video. These multiple or overlapping variants are pluricentric ways of standardizing one Stokowski dialect. Their heaps of shared grammar and vocabulary can appear very different in print depending on whether they used the Latin script or Cyrillic script, or for many speakers, both. The Dené language is native to the coast of southern Alaska, though very much at risk of extinction. Arjan Kvasnikov, a visual artist from a Dené culture tribe, was inspired to create a unique writing system for the language, and even though undertaking it out of pure interest, ended up gaining support from the tribe. Each of the 44 letters has a sound associated with it in a kind of acrophonic way, and meaningful Dené symbolism, and Arjan uses the script across projects, even in signatures. Arjan became my patron and wrote one of the best messages I ever received, giving appreciation for ideas that my Thoth's Pill animation sparked, and encouraging me to keep doing the kind of work that could really be a goal for all of us, work that helps heal cultures. In my last video, I showed a map of the Romance languages. I said I couldn't fit them all, but one I made sure to fit in is Lombard. That's thanks to an enthusiastic email over a year ago that included this simple line I loved: "We really care about our language." It's spoken in Italy, but as a form of Gallo-Romance, it has features that set it apart. For example, Italian often drops subject pronouns before verbs, but Lombard demands these little subject reinforcers, plus optional full pronouns. After I finally finished my animation about Middle Chinese, personal messages trickled in. One that sent me down a rabbit hole was a kind and simple prompt to look into Wenzhounese. the devil's language. But the longest and most enthusiastic was from someone whose native language is Hmong, part of its own Hmong Mien language family. The story goes that the written language was lost, but preserved in a way in traditional flower cloth garbs. Today's adopted alphabet system feels clumsy to this speaker, who explained how you now break words into initial consonants, then vowels, then look at the final consonant but don't pronounce it, you use it to compute the tone of the vowel. After I caught a video by a popular creator about the terms Indian and Native American, Dené YouTuber and flag evaluator Peter Vexillographer helped me clarify thoughts about names and naming and about Indigenous representation in videos. Now, from wonderful requests for getting animated about North American languages from Anishinaabe to Cherokee, I think one thing that's clear is how Indigenous nations identify with specific languages more than these broad terms. Thanks to Peter for providing nuance and clear-ordered points about really listening to Indigenous voices. I wrote back and forth in Spanish with someone who's much more comfortable in their native language than Spanish, one of only 2,000 speakers of Quiniqueiton, likely a language isolate called Seri by outsiders. They were so happy to share how unique their language is and how much love they have for it. Just consider the verbs, which have a whole range of inflections across different subjects, moods, distances, and how often the action gets repeated. I think all of these are worth more of our time, but before we get to the big one with I think the most private requests, I want to mention some that have come up multiple times, enough that they're stuck in my head. One you could almost guess from public comments is Turkish. Seriously, why still nothing about Turkish? I know. Another, including from a very positive polyglot, is about Moroccan as a distinct Darija language. But pound for pound, which language do you think I've had the most personal, heartfelt messages about? It may be Guaraní. Natively, it's Avañe'e, people's language, a Tupian language heard in and around Paraguay. Uniquely, this is an indigenous language of the Americas spoken by people from all backgrounds. Paraguayans often speak it mixed style, yopara, mixed with Spanish words. It has many things that you might not have come across before, but here's one, nasal spreading. If you see a vowel written with a wavy nasal mark above, say it through your nose. But don't stop nasalizing there. Let that nasal spread out to whatever surrounding sounds it can. This is why even the language's name itself gets nosy. Avañe'e. Thank you for joining me to look back on these warm messages of language love with me. So which ones were new to you? How many had you already met before? Stay tuned for more linguistic tales, and of course, stick around and subscribe for language.